Hello, welcome back to the sewing room. I needed to make some lanyards like these for me and my daughter and a couple of spares to help us have the key handy for our chicken coop. We don't keep our chickens at the house. We keep them somewhere else. So although we've never had any problems, we do keep them under lock and key. And we might be there in the dark, we might be there in the cold, or we might drop the key. So I thought I'd make some nice bright lanyards for that purpose. I happen to have some of this ripstop orange fabric. It's very bright and we can wash it easily, but the method I'm going to show you could use for any fabric and it will work. So I hope you enjoy the video. This is the fabric I'm going to use. It's waterproof ripstop fabric, which is readily available. And I'm cutting my pieces 3 inches wide by 34 inches long. So that I'm a fairly average size. But if you just measure to make sure it's the length that you want, but I'm using 34 inches. The one thing I've learnt during the course of making these is that you can actually press ripstop fabric. But I've got the iron here on the absolutely lowest setting that it will go on. And what it does do is it will put a crease in the fabric for you without harming it, it appears. So obviously if you're doing this, test it first on a small piece. You don't want melted ripstop fabric all over your ironing board. This seems to be working for me though. It is on it's barely warm, it's barely on. You can put a crease in like this. Enough so that you can fold your two ends into the middle like this and then put a clip on there and do that all the way along and clip it. The advantage of using this fabric is it's very bright, can be wiped clean, and it's also what I've got. So there's no need to fold the ends in as it looked as though I'd done at the beginning of this clip. Just keep clipping these to the end, and that raw edge is going to be enclosed inside the stitching once the lanyard is made, as you will see. So just use the edge of your foot as a guide and sew down the open end. Because I'm using ripstop fabric, it will tend to bubble up in the middle in the way that perhaps cotton wouldn't do. And so I'm actually going to do 3 rows of stitches. I'm going to do one at the end like this, with using my foot as a guide, probably 1/4 of an inch from the edge, then one at the other side, again 1/4 of an inch from the edge, and then one down the middle. So you can see my 3 lines of stitching here, which are holding the fabric down and making a neat finish. Just trim off the raw edges. Now, making sure that there aren't any folds or turns in the fabric, I'm going to sew these 2 ends together with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. But first, put on the D-ring. Just put it on, because you can always turn it around later. Slide it down and then sew up the ends. Go back and forth a few times and then trim off your threads. Make sure that you haven't got any twists in your fabric. And then what we're going to do is conceal that join inside and flip the fabric around the other way. Make sure that the flat piece of your D-ring is against the fabric, and we're now going to top stitch this to hide that join. Now, because you're now going through several layers of fabric, you do need to be careful. I've actually speeded this video clip up, but it was actually very difficult to go through. So do take care that you don't break your needle. And that's the finish that you're aiming for. Now I'm just adding my lips and rings. You can use whatever combination you want. I'm just using what I've already got. These are just bag fixings, which I've bought from the internet in packs relatively cheaply, and I'm just putting a key on each.